Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Donna, and for those of you who are not, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I do appreciate you stopping in. I know that you don't have to be here, and yet you choose to, which is very humbling to me and very amazing, and I appreciate it so much. Today I am actually doing my worst products of 2018. So for those of you who are unaware, 2018 was really my first full year of makeup in my entire life, and I am 42 years old. So while that might seem odd to some people, to those that know me, it doesn't seem odd at all. I wore eyeliner and that was it. And I used to be a person that thought that, you know, so much makeup usage was people like hiding behind the makeup, or you know, people that didn't feel confident in themselves, and I really felt confident in myself, and now I don't, which is funny because I wear makeup and maybe I am trying to feel more confident about myself. So with that being said, 2018 was where I kind of found myself, found where I wanted to be with makeup, found what kind of makeup works well for me, and I have my worst products. I do have quite an extensive list for you guys, so I'm just going to jump in. But a little disclaimer, just because these products did not work for me doesn't mean that they're horrible products. A lot of these products came from brands that I frequently use. I just didn't like said product. Even if there's multiple products from said brand, I just didn't like the one that I'm talking about. And it doesn't mean that it didn't work, it won't work for anybody. It just means it didn't work for me. So it might be your holy grail item, and I applaud you for that, because I was so taken by it that I did want to try it. It just didn't work for me. So to start, I'm going to move over here so I can put some pictures up here, because I don't have hardly any of these items left. And I do have little asterisks next to the items that I really want to talk about. The first item I have on my list is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Liquid Foundation. I purchased this foundation because it was, according to Pinterest, a dupe for a NARS luminous weightless foundation that I had tried in my very first sample, full face of samples that I did, which I can put up in the cards. And I loved it. I loved that NARS foundation, but I was not going to spend $50 on a foundation. So I went on to Pinterest and I found the dupe for it, and this was the dupe. And this foundation not only looked horrible on my skin, and I am a dry skin person who probably shouldn't be using mattes in the first place, but my holy grail every single day foundation is the Peach Perfect Comfort Matte. I use matte foundations every single day. So this matte foundation just didn't work with my skin at all. And to top it off, every single time I used it, I broke out. It was horrible. There was something in that product makeup that just didn't work out for me. So that was, of course, up close and up front and present on my list as one of the worst products for me in 2018. The next product I have on here is the Pacifica Beach Crystals mini palette, and this was a mini eyeshadow palette that I received in IPSY. I will try and get a picture up here. I think I gave it to my 7-year-old daughter, and it was also a product that I used in the same Get Ready With Me that I was just talking about, I believe. It might have been my second one. If it was, I'll link that one. Also, just a sample. It was a full face of samples, Get Ready With Me. I worked on that video for, you guys only got to see like 40 minutes of it, but that eyeshadow palette took me a good hour and a half to get any kind of pigmentation on my eyes, and totally steered me clear of the Pacifica eyeshadow formula in its entirety, because I just found that it was awful. It was super hard to work with. It was super hard to get to show up on my skin. And I am not exactly the darkest of complexions. Like, I shouldn't have had a problem getting it. It had like a brown in it and some purples in it. And it should have been a good palette. It swatched well. But it just didn't work for me. I didn't find any value in that formula, to the extent that I swore off Pacifica eyeshadows forever. And this coming from somebody who really is trying to get into more of a drugstore thought process lately. Like, I'm really trying to find items that I prefer in the drugstore options that we have out there, because there are quite a plethora of wonderful drugstore brands. I have some Pacifica lipsticks that I enjoy quite a bit, but their eyeshadows, no thank you. The next one I have on here is the e.l.f. Cleansing Balm. Now, you guys might have heard me talk about this item. I do still have it. It is still in my shower, and the reason why I do not like it is because I just don't feel like it cleans. I just don't feel like it cleans. Case in point, yesterday I used it while I was in the shower to wash my makeup away. I'd already washed the makeup off of my eyes and thought that I had done, you know, a pretty decent job, but knew I was going to get in the shower and would be able to cleanse it more. And then I put that cleansing balm on, and it just, the makeup that was sitting around my eyes, you know, my raccoon eyes from my mascara, it didn't go away. And so I put the balm on my eyes again and tried to wash it away, and there was still black around my eyes from that balm not washing that makeup away. So I felt like I had to go in so many times that it was just pretty worthless. Like, soap and water did far better for me than that e.l.f. cleansing balm did. The next thing I have is the Elizabeth Arden Good Night Sleep Restoring Cream. So, this isn't a horrible night cream. It's not. I actually quite enjoy it as a night cream for what it is, but it is so fragranced. It is so fragranced. And I have really super sensitive skin, and every time I put it on, it would cause a rash on my face. And every time I put it on, just smelling all that fragrance would really give me a headache. So if I didn't put it on right before I went to bed, I knew I was going to go to bed with a headache and would probably wake up with a headache. So I had to put it on and go right to bed. And I knew that when I woke up, like, my face might be broke out. I used it a couple days ago, and I have a friend here and a friend here, and it looks like a growing friend here, because it just breaks me out. But it was the only night cream that I had for, you know, a few weeks, so I did use it. I just dealt with my friends coming along as they would, and I only used it the other night because my other night cream was in a different place and I was too lazy to go get it, and now I'm paying for it. So don't be lazy. Go get what you prefer. It's a really good cream. It's just super, super potent. The next thing I have on my list is the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink Lipsticks. So I like dark lipsticks, like the dark vampy lipsticks, and maybe that's part of the problem, but I found that these lipsticks did not work for me whatsoever. Every time I put them on, they would be like patchy and streaky, and sometimes they would bleed. The one thing they had going for them is that they did last all day. So all day long, I had this patchy lipstick on, and I could reapply it over the top of itself, which is odd for a liquid lipstick for the most part, but it still was super patchy. It was always super patchy, and maybe if I had tried the lighter shades, I would feel differently about it. But I got it because one of my partners wore this one all the time and swore by it, so I got it. thinking that it was also going to work for me. It worked for her, obviously. It should work for me. That's not the case, which is why the disclaimer at the beginning, just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. It just didn't work for me. It was always super patchy. It kind of feathered out into the fine lines around my mouth, and it just looked horrible. It just looked so bad. I can't even. The next thing I have on my list is the Tarte Knockout Tingling Treatment. Now, I still have that. I still have the full bottle in my medicine cabinet, and the reason why I still have the full bottle is because I used it 3 times, okay? So it is the full bottle minus 3 uses. And every single time I used it, I got this rash along my chin line and into anywhere, I guess, where there was a high amount of, so like I would wet the cotton pad and then stick it on my chin and wipe my chin area. If that was the first time that cotton pad touched my face, I would get a rash there. So I'd get the cotton pad wet again and go underneath my eyes, and then I would have a rash here. And it was the most awful rash I have ever, it felt like a chemical burn, and it looked like a diaper rash, and my face actually swelled. So, like I said, super sensitive skin. I get the same kind of rash from certain hot tub chemicals, and we have a hot tub, so I have to make sure that we have, you know, a certain kind of chemical in our hot tub, or I can't get in it, because just the steam, the vapors carrying the chemical composition up onto my skin breaks me out, whether my head is underwater or not. Like my ears even break out. So this stuff didn't touch my ears, so I didn't get like this rash on my ears, but I did get it all over my face. I wanted this product so bad, and I wanted to love this product so bad because it is something that everybody raves about. Everybody thinks is the best, like, you know, cleaning, toning kind of item, and it just, I can't use it. I wish I could. I wish I could, but I can't. The next thing I have on here is Wet n Wild highlighters. This is actually kind of a funny story because my daughter loves them, and I purchased a Crown of My Canopy for myself and Precious Petals, I think, for her. It might have been 2 Crown of My Canopies. It might have been 2 of those. Either way, I purchased 2 of them, one for her, and then I loved it on her so much that I went back and got myself one, and then I put it on my face, and it was awful. Like, and I feel like I'm the only one that hates those highlighters, except for that I watched a video by Samantha March not that long ago where she was also talking about how much she did not like them. So I know I'm not the only one out there that doesn't like them. But they literally just went on to my cheeks and were so glittery that, and I'm old, so maybe that's the reason why, but I don't have a whole lot of texture to my skin, so it shouldn't have brought out the mass amount of texture that it did, but maybe I'm fooling myself, God only knows, but those just looked horrible. And then like a few weeks later, there was this quad highlighter on Ulta, and it was for sale for, it was like $30, I think it was, or $28, and it was on sale for $14, and I had it in my Ulta cart, and my daughter was like, Mom, you don't even like the one you have. What makes you think that you will like those ones? They're so pretty. They're so pretty. They just make you want to have more because of how pretty they are. But like she said, I don't like the one I have because it looks awful on my face. So I have to remember that every single time I get into Ulta Online, because I see that quad and I'm like, oh, I want it. But then I remember how awful it looks on my face. The next thing I have is actually like a combination of items, and it is the Butter London Stroke of Wow eyeliner. that we got in a BoxyCharm, but in addition to this one, there was several that came out like it, and it's that rollerball eyeliner. And here's the thing, those things are super wet. They have to be super wet to go on this rollerball and be able to go on your eye, right? And because of that, if you have any kind of texture in your eye, it feathers into that texture. But also, if you're not great at eyeliner yet, they're just ridiculous for you. They're supposed to be easier, but they're just ridiculous for you to think that you can create amazingness with this rollerball when you can't do it with a pen or a pencil, because the rollerball is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to use. It's very gimmicky. It's, you know, out there as an easier way to do eyeliner, and it was just stupid. And it's too wet. It smudges all over the place. It doesn't stay put. It doesn't dry down 100% matte, which is how I like my eyeliner to be. And while I appreciate the cleverness of the people that came up with this, I mean, look at the ingenuity in this. It's just not for me. It was a horrible idea on their part, I feel like, and an even more horrible idea on my part to think that I could figure it out. The next thing I have on here is magnetic lashes. So I am not a lashes person in the first place. Like, I don't wear lashes very often because I can't figure those ones out. But I remember watching one of Raw Crusty Beauty's videos where she was trying magnetic lashes and how she was struggling with them. But once, you know, it happened that they got on her eyelashes, like, they looked really good and they seemed easy. Again, here's with the seemed easy, right? You cannot figure out regular lashes. You probably can't figure out magnetic lashes. I think that these are a crock. Number one, when you have lashes, you have to take that lash band and like bend it so that it has somewhat of your eye shape to it, so that it curves around your eyelid. And magnetic lashes just don't do that. They just don't. I got a pair from a person who I did her makeup for her maternity shoot, and she gave me the pair of magnetic lashes that she brought with her that she wanted to use, because I ended up using a regular pair of brand new lashes that I had in my collection because I couldn't figure out the magnetic lashes, and neither could she. So she gave me these magnetic lashes thinking, you know, well, here, you can try them. I hated them. I hated every bit of them. They just were not easy. It was just not easy to use them. So I find that that is probably a joke. The next thing and the last thing that I have on. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the NYX Pore Filler. This is a primer that I purchased and actually put it into my project pan for this year. And I actually did end up finishing it, but it was the grossest primer I have ever encountered in my life. It's a silicone-based primer and a pore filling primer, and I've had other pore filling primers that I don't find as nasty as this one was. You could put it on your hand and you can rub it around and it would just like create balls of goop on your hand, and then when you put it on your face, it did the same thing. Every time I put any kind of foundation over the top of it, I found that my foundation would actually also roll into balls, which I didn't understand at all. It didn't do anything for filling pores. I felt like I don't have hugely large pores in the first place, but I do have like a slight bit of texture right here on my face, and it didn't do anything to help curb that texture, which is something a pore filler is supposed to do. I also have these, like, I call them the 11s, my deep-rooted creases going on up here that it didn't do anything to help out. I found that that is a formulation of primer that I really don't like, that I probably will never purchase ever in the future. And I learned a lot from that NYX pore filler. So I'm thankful for it for that reason, but it was one of the worst products I tried in 2018. Another product that I tried in 2018 that I hated, and it will be one of the last ones that I talk about, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation. I still have the two that I have. Let me go get them real quick. So I still have these two, and they are in the colors Warm Tan, and then the other one is actually a highlighting shade in the color Banana. And I bought the Banana shade so that I could lighten the Warm Tan one up. The Warm Tan one is a little bit too orange for me. So this is the product, and that is about a full-size product because I've used it 3 times, and all 3 times I just felt like it's super dry. I really like stick foundations. I am really enjoying the Smashbox dual-ended one where it has a foundation on one end and the contour on the other. I also really love the Tarte Clay Play one. It is very nice. It's probably my favorite of my stick foundations. I also have a Revolution Beauty one that's not bad for a drugstore option. These guys are so dry. They're just so dry. They're not drying, but they are super dry to use. I find that I have to put like my maracuja oil or some kind of facial oil on my face before putting this on, in addition to my primer. And then once I put these on, I have to put more oil on my face to be able to blend these out. And I just find that to be ridiculously too many steps. I mean, really, too many steps. And the fact that I got 2 of them is whatever. I will probably use them until they're gone because, I mean, it's a beautiful foundation. I really feel like it's a beautiful foundation. When I wear it, it wears really nicely on my face. It just doesn't last very long, and it is really hard to apply for me because it's so dry. And I do have dry skin, so I don't want to be tugging at my face, so I put all the oil on so that it's easier to blend out. And if you're trying to blend it with a blender, forget about it because it's so dry that it won't blend with a blender. So I have to blend it out first with a brush and then go back in with a blender after I have blended it with a brush, just to make it look like it's not been blended out with a brush. So these were one of my not favorites. The next thing I have is a cult favorite that is probably an unpopular opinion, but it is the Laura Mercier setting powder, and I have it. Just one second. So this is my Laura Mercier setting powder. It is in translucent, and this was a cult favorite for the last year, maybe more, on YouTube. I don't know. I haven't been involved in YouTube for very much longer than a year, so I'm not sure how long it's been a cult favorite. But it is a cult favorite here on the tube, and I just really hate it. I just really can't stand it. Maybe because my skin is dry, as I've said multiple times, maybe because I'm old, I don't know. But every time I use this stuff on my face, I feel like it ages me at least 10 years. At least 10 years. And I don't bake. I tried to bake with this. Maybe that's why I don't like it. I tried to bake and it was just kind of a no-go. It was something that I just can't do. I can't do it because I always look probably 30 years older when I bake. But even when I dust this on my face, I find that it just ages me. It ages me by at least 10 years. It is pretty finely milled, and it is a beautiful powder. If I use it sparingly, like super sparingly, I'll like maybe put it along my chin and along my nose and my forehead. It looks okay. But if I use it anywhere else on my face, it is bad. Bad news bears. And I definitely can't use it as an under eye powder. Ever. because it just clings to every single under eye wrinkle, fine line, anything I have down there, and says, I am present. Look at how old she is. And I freaking hate it. So yeah, Laura Mercier is a no-go for me. So those were my worst products of 2018. My best products of 2018 will be coming soon. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you'll want to give it a big thumbs up before you leave today. I also hope that for those of you who are new here, that you will consider subscribing to my channel. Hopefully you liked me or liked my content enough that you want to think about subscribing to my channel. Stick around for a little bit, hit the bell so that you're notified every single time I upload, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Sunday of every single week. Sometimes I throw in a bonus video in there. Being the holiday season, I've thrown in a couple bonuses there, but I've also been working a whole lot, so I'm trying to stay, pre-recorded so that I can get at least the videos out that I have promised people. I hope that you'll drop me some information down in the comments section about what your worst products were this year. I'm interested to see it. And if you're a content creator and have a video out there of your worst in 2018, I would love to watch it if I haven't watched it already. So please leave me a message down in my comment section. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope to see you next time. Bye.